Hello! Alright, so just as I did with the Poison Ivy costume so long ago, I grabbed a bra that had a fit that I liked and placed thermoplastic over top and cut it down to the approximate size, and with a blow dryer I fit it to the bra cup size. Once they were cooled down, I simply peeled them off and then grabbed my spray adhesive to spray them both down. And add batting on top. This will give it a little bit more of a natural look when it's added into the inside of the bodysuit, keeping the stability of the bra cup sizes. I also did cut these down to size, though you could leave it as being one piece to start as long as you actually start with the thermoplastic that way. And then I put the mannequin back together. Oh, right. Oh my god. Things are happening. And plastic wrapped all around it. Placing my fairly cheap bodysuit onto it. Unfortunately, it was a cheap bodysuit from Amazon. I would recommend getting something a little bit more expensive because in the end it was a little bit see-through. This and undressing it always makes me feel super weird. Like I should ask it for permission first. It's like salad fingers. Before I added anything on, I did just want to make sure that it fit, and it did fit, luckily. I mean, besides the hands. It's actually kind of giving like Men in Black, like an alien trying to fit into a human suit. So I unzipped it and pulled the breast area down, placing my breastplates on top of the mannequin's boobies. Sprayed them one more time with the spray adhesive, being sure not to get any on the bodysuit, and then I carefully stretched the bodysuit over top to the right position, knowing I only had one shot to get this right. Cue Eminem. One shot, one opportunity
to seize everything that you ever wanted. Was that Eminem?
Now, the first attempt was a test run, as I did not want to buy all of this fabric paint in bulk until I was sure it would be a good color to go onto this bodysuit, and also would dry down as I needed it to. I used a fabric marker to kind of pre-map some of the areas I wanted to touch on, also using a reference photo as I went to get as accurate to Rebecca Romijn, I believe is her name. I probably butchered that.
Rebecca Romijn.
As close to her performance as I could, using the boobs and sternum area and the collarbones as well as a guide, and then started on the fabric paint. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have done such a large area as a test run, but I kind of got ahead of myself and then things just worked out. Now this is a lot of an area to do to test it out, but here we are. Let's see how this looks in a few hours. I added enough of a thickness on that even when it dried down, it would still have a little bit of built up texture rather than like painting it into the fabric. I still had that buildup of texture that I wanted, and it was also shiny enough that even though the color did change a little bit, you could still see the color as a different shade because the bodysuit was matte and the fabric paint was shiny. For doing the rest of the bodysuit, this honestly took me weeks, doing a bit at a time or having to wait for layers to dry in between and then adding more on or having to turn it around multiple times to get the right angle to continue. I went through 4 big bottles and 2 smaller ones of this color. This is not for the faint of heart. If you do make this, make damn sure you have more than enough bottles of your color and ample time as well. It's very time consuming but also fairly easy. I did go back and forth between mapping an area out with the fabric marker and fabric painting and also freehanding it in, using multiple reference photos along the way to get it as accurate as possible, as I said. I did take some but very little creative liberties here. There were even times I put down small dots and then used various other tools to go into the blob or the dot and pull it in different directions to give it an almost spiky effect. More visual interest. Or I would place some down, wait for it to dry, add another layer over top, and then spike it up that way. I would also indent some, looking for a little variation. For some reason, I even needed to use actual clamps to make sure the fabric was stretched, namely the hand area and arms, as sadly my mannequin doesn't actually have any fingers or toes. I probably could have gone one step further, no pun intended, and painted fake toenails and then glued them on. I'm not a foot person, and I don't want to introduce that to my channel. Let me tell you, when this was dry to the touch, it makes for very satisfying noises when you trail your fingers across it. Speaking of feet, though, Bird of toots. I also did mess up a few times because I went through so many bottles that I got a few air bubbles that popped when I was trying to use them, which I tried my best to clean up using, again, various tools and also tissues along the way. Oh god. Around the zipper area, obviously in the movie she doesn't have that, as they are like physical appliques to put onto her naked body versus me having my bodysuit. I wanted to make it blend as much as possible, so I placed each shape as close to the zipper as I could. Take my strong hand. Oops. Once again. Oops. The discoloration. When it was completely all dried down, I then removed it from the mannequin, and then I realized I wanted to take it one step further. Instead of doing all the texture on my face with liquid latex and then painting over it, as I would normally do, I wanted to see how doing it ahead of time on, let's say, tulle would work. I had some white tulle laying around, so I cut it down and dyed it to match the bodysuit. And then placed saran wrap on a mannequin head, pinned that down. Then followed up with pinning the tulle down as well, making sure it was taut. Cutting off the excess and using that same fabric paint, creating my design. I did little extra pieces just in case my piece was too big. I waited a few hours for it to dry down and added second and third layers onto some to give, again, more depth. My main takeaway to this piece is make each side mirrors, do a couple things on one side and then mirror a couple things on the other. Oddly enough, the opposite as the bodysuit, as the bodysuit wasn't exactly mirrored. I thought it would be, turns out it wasn't. Once it was dry though, I did remove all of the pins. And then carried onto the wig, which was easy enough. I had an orange shorter lace front wig, which I simply combed through to get all the tangles out. And then added school glue with my hands, massaging it in. And then further combing it out. And then let that dry, and here we are. That's it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in my next one. Happy Halloween!